G'day ladies and gentlemen, it is Duckville here. We've got a Terran versus Protoss today. You can see our Terran player down on the bottom right, bottom left hand side I should say. Here's our red Terran currently playing for Team EchO. It is HTOMario. He's a player who we have seen quite a few times before, namely a player who I like to watch. He's not only an interesting player to watch, but also a good player to learn from if you like a bit of mech. He's a wonderful mech player, has been doing it for quite a while, has been up in the Grand Masters on the NA server, if I remember correctly. From the current status of this replay, I'm not sure, I can't actually remember how recent this replay is. I'm pretty sure it was like yesterday or something like that. He's also in High Masters, and we'll see what he's going to do here today, but I'm pretty sure we can expect him to march across the green plains of Whirlwind to his Protoss opponent with some mech. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Speaking of his Protoss opponent up at the top right hand side, as our blue Protoss currently playing for Team SCA, I believe on the the B team, it is Virium. I have not actually seen Virium play. We've seen quite a few of the other SCA players go about, like Lucky and Coldfire and a couple of the other guys as well, but haven't seen Virium just as of yet, so we'll see what his particular style of Protoss is here in this matchup, and in particular, if we do go in that direction, which, again, I'm assuming with Mario, we will go in the direction of mech, how he likes to respond to mech play, because it is something which there are various, like a couple of different ways you can respond to it. This is a problem with mech in Wings of Liberty in particular, was that there were so many counters to dealing with mech, and like the only real people who would ever try it were people like Goody. I remember Cass tried it a couple of times, I think. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, only the daring and the brave would ever attempt mech in Wings of Liberty, just because there were so many ways that a Protoss could deal with it. You've got fast expanding, you've got multiple expansions at a time, Immortals are wonderful units, Archons, Immortals, Void Rays, and now of course Void Ray Tempest is a really big way to counter mech play. So we'll see how Virium is going to go about it here today. Of course, Mario, now in Heart of the Swarm, like we were talking about the difficulties of mech and Wings of Liberty, you effectively had to play a very perfect game. It was very, very unforgiving, which is why it was something which rarely ever newer people would ever try it, just because it was so unforgiving. You screw up one positional play, you don't have the right counter to certain units, all these kinds of things, you don't have enough of a certain counter, yeah, and you're dead. There was no, oh, well, maybe. It was always, no, you're dead, sorry, you're dead. And that's just the way mech is, and I mean, it still does have a very large element of that here in Heart of the Swarm, even with some of the changes the Terran have gotten, but it is a little bit easier in some circumstances, not necessarily. Again, I want to stress, some people sort of, when I say things particularly relating to mech and other certain styles, like some people sort of say, think that I'm speaking exclusively, it always works at a Korean Codes level. I don't specifically mean that. I mean, at certain play levels you can do, obviously, various sorts of things, but I personally think that mech is viable at all levels, as we have seen recently in the WCS EU. It got used quite a few times by some of the Terran players there, and it certainly does have a place in the game. I would like to see it more, though. But anyway, we'll end that little preaching there by me. We can see that Virium has opened up with the Nexus first. Looks like Mario has scouted this out. He's going to have a little bit of a wander around inside the main base. We'll see the mothership core coming out, sees the second gas, and not too much else going on after that, apart from a standard sort of probe count here, and the Cyber on the way along with that, the first Robo is now on the way, so we'll see how Virium is going to transition from here. We sort of mentioned before that you can do things like multiple expansions with a PvT when they're playing mech. You can throw down a third base very quickly. If you can sort of eke out from your opponent that they aren't going to go for that style, then you can do something like that. But Mario, for the starters here, has opened us up with a very, very standard sort of barracks, reactor, factory, and get a couple of Witter Mines out, get a few Marines, and march your way across here. He does have the cool skin for the Marines. I really like the skin for that one. Some of the reward skins you get, I think they're really cool. Some of them are a little bit meh, like the Supply Depot one. Doesn't, you know, it doesn't actually have it, but the Supply Depot one I think is a bit meh, but whatever. we'll see. It looks as if Mario is going to march his way across behind this. The orbital command floating down towards the natural here. We do see that he's also got an armory, so there is the option of switching across the factory with the racks here and able to get out a couple of Hellbats, because Hellbats are another way to try and really powerfully open up in this matchup, is to get out those very quick Hellbats, do some harassment here. But it looks as if Virium is going to be quite safe. He does have an observer already out. This just across to the side, and this one of mine not going to get too much done. Just the one kill for the moment, so just one singular worker, oh sorry, 3 workers killed, counting a couple of the scouts that went out. And, you know, it's not a massive deal for Virium at this point. His warp gate tech is now finished up. He's going to have the option to walk back across to his opponent's side of the map. Has still not scouted out what's going on just as of yet. We can see that an observer is just about to float its way through. Speaking of the observations, we've got the very fast drilling claws coming out of Mario. So he might be looking to go for another Widowmine drop. He could use that as an option to try and harass his opponent. The first observer, as we mentioned, is coming across. It looks like Mario is trying to get a little bit more damage done, but with some decent control, it looks like Virium should be fine. No real damage taken there. The worker supply continues to climb for our Protoss player. For our Terran, we're sitting down at around about 36 SCVs at the moment, but with the added benefit of the mules down here at the natural is adding in quite a lot more income to those minerals. So decent opening for both players. It looks as if, where is Virium going with this probe? It looks like, is he... Okay, he's heading down here. He might be taking a secret base or something like that. Just a ninja base down to the side, trying to, you know, just sort of abuse the fact we mentioned before, the immobility of mechs. So he might, in fact, no, he's going to put down a pylon down here, so perhaps just a couple of proxy pylons. He is going to expand to the left-hand side here. I was going to say something about this base. If you were to take this base, this would actually be super risky. Like, it's fun to take a ninja base, but I mean, as a Terran player, especially when you're playing mech, you do look to try and get some harassment going with Widowmines and Hellbats and these kinds of things. This is a very common path for medevacs to come through, so I'd find that a very weird sort of base to take. So he's going to take this one here, just in the middle right section there, and it looks as if he is going to beef up that army with a few more Immortals. The Stalker's also on the way, +1 to the air weapons. He's also researching right now, so it looks as if Virium, is he going to? Yes, he is. Throws down 3 Stargates down here at this bottom right-hand side of the map. So he's going to go straight into the air tech. Has detected that his opponent is going to go for mech. We saw an extra factory. Was it a factory? No, it must have just been that command center. But a couple more factories are now going down for Mario. He does have the +1 to armor upgrade has also completed. Interesting to note that he did get +1 armor for his tanks and also his Widowmines as well. So that's going to help out with a little bit of the upgrade path for the moment. But Virium, really, this is a really interesting way to try and counteract a player who's going for mech, is to go just straight for the air, get those air upgrades as well. 3 Void Rays now on the way for him, so this is going to be really interesting to see how Mario deals with this. One thing which we mentioned a little bit earlier on about mech is having the right counters to what how your opponent is responding to your mech play. Now, of course, in Heart of the Swarm, we've got those Void Rays, we've got the Tempest. Both of these units are incredibly powerful at dealing with mech play. Not only do those Tempests do just a huge amount of damage, but they do it from very far away. The Void Rays have an insane DPS once they get their even just a +2 on the air weapons upgrades. These guys do so much damage, and it becomes a really hard task to try and defend against it. So this is going to be really interesting here for Mario. It looks as if he has not scouted out what's going on yet. Is just poking about the map with a couple of SCVs, trying to find out if his opponent does have any hidden bases or anything like that. Is going to pick off that observer. Nice little catch there from Mario, but he's now taken his 3rd base finally. Gonna get that up and running, and once he gets his economy into a sort of a 3 base, that 6 gas coming in, he's going to be in a relatively good position here to keep his production going. So it is good to see him setting up some defenses here, but still has not actually scouted out that there is that hidden triple Stargate tech down the bottom right-hand side here. We've also got a secondary cybernetics core, along with the fleet bacon is also being added in, so we're going to have some tasty bacon cooking down here, guys. That is going to be a really, really tough thing to find here for Mario. It looks as if these SCVs are still scouting about. Is he... Wait, no, still just a patrol path that way. So that's how Mario is going to be scouting out the right side, but not far enough, it would seem. And it looks like we'll have a couple of Phoenix floating through, just trying to scout out exactly what's going on. I'm pretty sure that that Virium knows what's going on here. Like, the third base is up. We saw extra factories inside the main, and he should know that it is just a very standard sort of mech play. But one thing which Virium is going to have a look out for is the composition. The mech play, the composition that you look for in TvP, which is one thing that has changed from Wings of Liberty, is one that can change quite a lot. You can have players who go for a lot of Hellbats here to defend against those Zealots on the ground. You can have large tank forces, which is something that Strelok likes to subscribe to. You can also have players that just like to go for a lot of Hellbats and Thors in particular, which are very, very powerful units, and it looks as if Mario attempting to go for a drop on the side is not going to be able to get in there too far. But yeah, and there are also players such as we've seen a couple of replays just recently that I posted. Please be sure to have a look. They're really good games from Breach, who likes to go for high Widowmine counts in his armies, and we saw him do a really wonderful job against White with his own little mech TvP. So there's all sorts of things that you do have to factor in when you're playing some Protoss versus Terran. We'll keep an eye on this SCV, man, I swear. Oh, he is actually going in. Alright, he's changed the path there. He is going to find the triple Stargates, and Mario is going to say, whoa, what's going on here? Wait for this this SCV. Is he going to... Oh no, he's not gonna... Alright, he doesn't scout out what's going on. But Virium now says, alright, it's go time. He knows what's coming. The +1 to armor and the +1 to weapons is now done for those air units. So that's still decent damage that's gonna come out of those guys. We're gonna have some Stalkers, a couple of Sentries, and some Immortals make their way across too. And this is a bit of a panic moment here for Mario, I would guess, just because of the fact that we don't have a high count of Vikings out. We do have quite a few Ravens. We've got 2 Ravens already out with a little bit of energy ready to go. A couple of Ghosts on the ground are now about to make their way out as well. So he is going to have the capability to throw down an EMP or 2. We will have a couple of point defense drones which can help in dealing with these Stalkers. And things are going to get very, very interesting here as these Tempers start to make their way across. The point defense drones do stop these the laser balls, from the lightning balls, whatever you want to call them, from the Tempers. But you know, we'll see if it's going to be enough. Because, I mean, these Hellbats are virtually useless on the ground. They're going to be able to protect against the Stalkers and some of those Immortals, but other than that, they're not able to do too much else, considering they can't shoot up. So, Virium has been able to get his 4th base up and running, even looking to take a 5th down here, where his secret but now scouted out Stargates are. He's got his upgrades still slowly coming about, but mostly aiming for those air upgrades, and Mario says, alright, well, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you're not inside the bases, and gets a couple of good kills there. Very nicely done by him with the Widowmine drop, and now we can see the slow push of this Protoss army. He's looking to try and force the army to be in a position like, if Mario is in this sort of position out here, he's not going to be up here defending this base. We are going to get a planetary fortress here, but will it be enough to defend against these Zealots? I think the big thing here is that they don't have any upgrades. So Mario is now looking to move out. We can see that the Widowmine's also coming about. There's 8 Widowmines here. If he can move them into position, this could be a very, very big kill here for him. He is going to move across now. Finally, the Widowmine's burrowing. Let's see how much damage they can get done. Tearing apart those units. Down on the ground in particular, the Hellbats finishing them off as well. But the Widowmines have now been expended. There is no Observer. Oh, actually, there it is. The Observer is here, and it looks as if, wow, we actually have a Hunter-Seeker missile coming out as well, trying to separate that one out from the pack. It does get across and get a little bit of damage done, but not enough. Because of these grouped up Void Rays, they did not take all the damage, but a Thor across to the side says, I'm able to do some splash damage. How about it, boys? And it looks as if the Void Rays are going to continue to push in through to this 3rd base of Mario. Keep in mind, the attack on the 4th base did not actually get anything done. Maybe a couple of SCV kills here, but the Void Rays are just so immensely powerful. They've got their 2-2 now up and running. They are doing an insane amount of damage here. Once they activate the prismatic alignment, they just rip apart anything. And Mario says, alright, well, if the Hellbats aren't going to be able to do much against those air forces, I'm going to send them across and take out some of your production capabilities for those air units. So Mario making the best of what he has here. We can see a couple of Widowmines now coming out. Going to fire a couple of shots on those Zealots there. Take out a couple of them, and more Widowmines still continuing to come out here. And a couple of Hunter-Seekers attempting. Will this one? Nope. Does not get out that the Hunter Seekers, but it looks as if Mario has been able to exact some revenge across here on the right-hand side. The Hellbats going to work, taking out 2 of the Stargates, and obviously getting rid of some of the probes that were there as well. But I mean, is he going to be able to defend against this? It looks like the Winter Mines do come across, splitting up some of the units. Very nicely done by Virium, able to sense that those mines were all prepared, and it looks like a couple more Winter Mines are activated. The Planetary Fortress not able to shoot up, so this could be another dead CC here for Mario. But Hunter Seeker gets activated, Winter Mine takes a shot, Void Rays are going to have to retreat for the moment, and it looks as if Mario is, well, he's salvaged this base. I'm rather impressed that this base is still operational, but I mean, other than that, the counter-attack damage has not really gotten a massive amount done. We did see the Winter Mine back here was able to get a few probe kills, but I mean, other than that, he hasn't really had time to come back across and try and threaten his opponent, apart from these 2 very brave Hellbats. But as you can see, the mining capabilities of Virium still up at a very high total right now, almost 2,000 minerals coming in, around about 800 gas. That is going to allow him to continually produce some of these Stargate units. We've got extra Stargates back at home after losing some of those ones down on the bottom right-hand side of the map. We did see some Stalkers going down here in this big clump of Winter Mines, but it looks like some of them didn't activate, so it wasn't too many there. So we didn't miss too much. Sorry about that, guys. We were looking at the Stargate count, but we can see that the Void Rays still continue to dominate up in the sky. These guys with their 3-3 now activated, with prismatic alignment, that is 16 damage versus armored targets per half a second. It's an insane amount of damage here, and this is why it can be very tough to deal with a Protoss player when you're playing mech, just because of how strong these guys are. Winter Mines coming across, trying to burrow in, get some damage done. They get a little bit, 1 or 2 shots going off there, but Virium does not have any observers available here to help out with the detection, and not to mention, this Raven has been instrumental. In fact, all the Ravens that Mario has had have been instrumental in helping to detect some of those observers here, and now we can see he is starting to move towards a composition very similar to the way Breach likes to play. The high mine count, able to burrow them in, just saying a little bit of a YOLO kind of strategy, if you will, just saying, alright, I'm coming under all of your forces, we're going to burrow underneath, we're going to get these mines down, and then just go for a massive sort of kill there, and it does work sometimes. That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it does work. And I mean, we'll see how he's going to augment this composition. I would like to see some more Thors coming out. We do have 2 Thors on the way. With their high impact payload, they do a massive amount of damage against, well, massive air units. I guess that's a weird usage of the word, but we can see 24 Winter Mines are now out on the map for Mario. He does have +3 on the armor for these guys, so they will survive a little bit longer. Bear in mind, if you're not a Terran player, plus the vehicle weapons upgrade do not factor into Winter Mines, because they do a spell-based damage attack as opposed to a normal shot, very much like these Thors here. So we can see the +1 to the vehicle weapons has only just started for Mario, so he's going to be very, very far behind on that, which in the context of things, when you've got a bajillion Winter Mines, I don't think that matters too much, and it looks as if he is going to try and go for a little bit of a burrow underneath those, underneath the Void Rays here, but not able to get there in time. Virium has now got a 5th base set up towards the top side here, has still got, well, the Fleet Beacon and the Stargate down the bottom side is still operational, but here we can see that he is now in a little bit of an awkward position. He's just out in the open here. The Winter Mines, of course, a very powerful force. If he can get a couple of EMPs and then get the stack of Winter Mines underneath these air units, it looks as if we may actually have some kind of battle coming out here. It looks like the Winter Mines are actually going to get in position. EMPs! Oh, wow. That is a huge explosion. It's like a Michael Bay film up in here, and that is a very dead Protoss air army. The PDDs from the Ravens able to negate a lot of the damage there that the Tempests were throwing out. Of course, their huge amount of damage, 39 damage per shot. It is a very slow shot, but I mean, he is able to try and get some damage done on these stores, but the PDD is far too powerful for that. We can see the Winter Mines still burrowed out here just in case those air units come back across, but the Observer's able to scout out what's going on, and those Winter Mines forced to retreat. But wow, what a crazy amount of damage done there by those Winter Mines of HTOMario. That was just insane. It has allowed him to to get his, well, what was originally his third base, now back up and running. His fourth across to the left-hand side at the 9 o'clock position, if you will, has still been mining away quite nicely, keeping his money and his gas coming in. Just the 2 of 3 on that that place right there. But it looks as if more Widow Mines now coming out for the fight. Will Virium be prepared for this one? It looks as if he is a little bit underprepared. The Templar and the Tempest a little bit too slow to get out of there, taking up a lot of damage here, slowly burrowing Widow Mines, chasing after. This is an insane chase scene from a movie right here, right now. And Tempest slowly going down. The Tempest count now reduced to just a single Tempest, and this is just an incredible game here. It looks as if Mario is going to have to deal with some Zealots across to the sides and DTs down at the 6 o'clock position here, trying to attack into this into the Planetary Fortress, but it is not going to be enough, it seems. It looks like the Widow Mine's getting into position yet again. Thors are going to have to protect the Widow Mines. I mean, the cannons can easily kill off some of those Widow Mines there, but it looks like he does eventually force them back. The Planetary Fortress still alive, and eventually is kept alive by those preparing SCVs. Looks like Mario is now pushing in on this 5th base. The Thor's extremely powerful. The Widow Mine's down in the ground, unburrowing. Gonna come out here. I really like that decision there. He's unburrowed them. Some of them did have a shot available, but what you don't want to do is have the friendly Widow Mines helping out your Protoss opponent, shooting down these Thors, and that was a very wise decision there from HTOMario. His 3rd base still operational, getting those SCVs mining. Probably going to drop down some mules if he can, but this is this could end right here. I mean, he's up at 197 supply. We've got 10 doors out of the map. 21 Widow Mines are around and about. They're just catching up as we can see them slowly streaming across the map. And with a few Ravens, some point defense drones, there aren't any ghosts out anymore. But I mean, that's not going to matter too much when there's a very low population of Protoss units. And it looks as if HTOMario slowly making his way in towards his base. The Nexus cannon is now activated. Zealots coming across, trying to soak up some of the damage from those Widow Mines, but extra Widow Mines now making their way through. Gonna burrow inside this mineral line. Goodbye, probes. And that is an insane amount of workers killed in this game for Mario. 66 in total. But the play of the day, obviously that massive strike with those Widow Mines on the big group of the Templar and all of those Void Rays. We see, wow, that was actually something you don't get to see. A Hunter Seeker missile getting some friendly fire in. But Mario comes across, his Thor's a little bit exposed there. The Zealots actually running every which way. I don't know what was going on there. It looks like Mario will be forced back here. But at what cost? The 3rd base, no, that is the 4th base. I was just thinking a little bit differently. 3rd base has been decimated. The probe count of Virium is now down to just the 40. His mining down at the 3rd base is just about gone. The natural base still has a little bit of minerals. It's not every day you get to see someone pull off the probes when there's only that amount gone, but each their own, I suppose. Widow Mines are going to be detected. A singular observer now scouting its way through. Wisely throws down a scan to see if he can catch the Widow Mine, the observer, I should say, but he's not able to, and is now going to get out of there as quickly as he can, because we did have, what are these guys doing? Oh, okay, I think they're just biding their time until they go across to mine at this base. So he was just sort of clearing it out, it looks like. I guess that's what that was all about. But anyway, we've got a few Archons, the last remaining units of Virium now making their way across. He is attempting to build up some more, but I mean, with his income reduced to just a very small 100 mineral total, he is in a very ugly position right now. Widow Mines yet again burrowing underneath those Tempests, and they're going to go down very, very quickly here, with the Thors coming up behind them as well. That is going to be a Ghost throwing down some EMPs, and with the final Tempest about to go down, the Thors blasting them apart, Hellbats helping out on the ground as well. That is probably going to be it for our Protoss player SCA Virium, after a very strong early game play, looking for that secret air toss style. He was unfortunately undone by some Widow Mines of HTOMario here from EchO. And guys, what a game. What an insane usage of those Widow Mines there. We saw the EMP underneath, and then underneath that was the Widow Mine explosions. Just some crazy stuff going on in this game. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Say hello on Twitter, Facebook, and all those lovely social media things. I will see you all next time. Now just got one inside the gas geyser. In fact, he's taken 2 out, so we'll see if he's just planning something a little bit fishy here. But the spawning pool not quivering at the moment. This is one sign that you have to be very careful of when you're approaching